Most engines don't die of old age. They die of neglect, slow, invisible, day-by-day neglect that nobody notices until the tow truck shows up. None of the habits on this list require expensive parts, a trip to the dealership, or any real mechanical skill. Most of them take less than 5 minutes. But stacked together, month after month, they're the difference between an engine that limps out at 120,000 miles and one that's still running strong well past 300,000. And stick around, because the very last tip is the one mechanics wish every single customer knew before it was too late. Let's get into it. 11. You're skipping the parking brake. Here's a habit almost nobody follows on flat ground, but it quietly protects one of the most expensive parts of your car. Every time you shift into park, without setting the brake first, the entire weight of your vehicle rests on a small metal pawl inside the transmission. On a slope, that load multiplies fast. Over months and years, that tiny piece of metal can shear under the stress, and a transmission repair from that kind of damage routinely runs into 4 figures. The fix costs nothing. Set the parking brake first, then shift into park. It takes 2 extra seconds and protects a part you can't see and definitely can't afford to replace. 10. You're using the wrong fuel grade. If your owner's manual calls for premium, your engine's compression ratio, ignition timing, and sensors were all tuned around that specific fuel. Filling up with regular to save a few dollars doesn't just lower performance. It invites engine knock, carbon buildup, and long-term where that quietly chips away at your engine's lifespan over thousands of miles. The few dollars you save at the pump have a sneaky way of turning into a much bigger bill at the shop later. Match the fuel to what the manufacturer actually specified every single time you fill up, no exceptions. 9. You're ignoring the PCV valve. This is the part almost nobody talks about, and that's exactly why it causes so much damage. The PCV valve manages pressure inside your crankcase, and when it clogs up, that pressure has nowhere to go. Seals start leaking, oil gets forced where it shouldn't be, and sludge builds up in places that are expensive to clean out. Replacing it costs about as much as a casual dinner out for 2. Ignoring it can lead to oil leaks, blue exhaust smoke, and internal damage that costs thousands to repair. It's one of the cheapest insurance policies your engine will ever have. 8. You only drive short trips. If most of your driving is a 5-minute hop to the store or the school pickup line, your oil never actually gets hot enough to burn off moisture and fuel residue that build up inside the engine. Over time, that turns into sludge, and sludge is slow suffocation for an engine. The fix is simple. Once a week, give your car a real drive, 20 or 30 minutes, ideally with some sustained highway speed mixed in. It burns off condensation, fully recharges the battery, and keeps every internal component doing exactly what it's supposed to do. 7. You're running on fumes. Squeezing every last mile out of a tank feels efficient, but the bottom of your fuel tank quietly collects years of sediment and debris. Run it low often enough, and your fuel pump starts pulling that junk straight through the system, straining the pump and clogging injectors along the way. A failed fuel pump is never a cheap fix, and it often takes injectors down with it. The rule most mechanics actually follow themselves: refuel around the quarter tank mark, not whenever the warning light finally comes on. 6. You're driving on low or uneven tire pressure. Tires rarely come to mind when people think about engine health, but underinflated tires force your engine to work noticeably harder on every single mile. It's the same reason pedaling a bike with soft tires wears you out faster. More resistance means more effort for the same distance. Beyond the extra strain on the engine and the extra fuel burned, low pressure also generates excess heat inside the tire itself, which weakens the sidewalls and raises the risk of a blowout at highway speed. Checking your tire pressure once a month takes 30 seconds and protects your engine, your wallet, and your safety all at once. 5. You're ignoring your belts and hoses. Belts and hoses work constantly and silently, which is exactly why drivers forget they exist until one fails. The serpentine belt alone keeps your alternator, power steering, and water pump turning. One small crack, left unchecked, can snap without warning and leave you stranded with no power steering and an overheating engine. Hoses carry coolant under real pressure, and a burst hose can send temperatures climbing dangerously within a minute. A quick visual check once a month, looking for cracks, fraying, or soft spots, costs you nothing and can prevent a breakdown that costs a tow truck and a repair bill you didn't plan for. 4. You never actually look under the hood. This is the simplest habit on the entire list, and also the most skipped. Once a month, pop the hood. Look at the belts, glance at the fluid reservoirs, check that nothing looks loose, cracked, corroded, or discolored. It takes less than 5 minutes and catches small problems, a loose battery terminal, a fraying belt, a low fluid level, before they turn into roadside emergencies. Most breakdowns aren't sudden. They're warnings that went unnoticed for weeks, sometimes months. 3. You're overdue on your fluids. Oil, coolant, transmission fluid, brake fluid, think of them as your engine's circulatory system. Oil that goes too long between changes turns into varnish and sludge that starves moving parts of lubrication exactly when they need it most. Coolant that's old loses its ability to protect against corrosion and overheating. Transmission fluid that's gone dark and burnt smelling means your gearbox is already running hotter than it should, which is the single biggest cause of transmission failure. None of these fluids are expensive to maintain on a normal schedule. All of them are very expensive to ignore once they've already failed. 2. You're not listening to your own car. Your car talks to you constantly, you just have to actually listen to it. Once a month, turn the radio off, roll the windows down, and pay close attention as you accelerate, brake, and idle. A new tick, knock, squeal, or vibration is rarely random. A faint metallic knock under acceleration, for example, often points to early carbon buildup or a timing issue. Something that's a quick, inexpensive fix today and a 5-figure engine job in 6 months if it's left alone. Your ears are a completely free diagnostic tool that you're already carrying around with you. Use them. 1. You skip the monthly idle and rev test. Here's the single best 5-minute habit on this entire list. With the car in park and the parking brake set, start the engine and just let it idle for a minute, hood open if you can manage it. A healthy engine idles smoothly, with no shaking, stalling, or uneven dips in rhythm. Once it's fully warmed up, give it a gentle rev and listen closely for any hesitation or rough response. This simple test catches dirty fuel injectors, vacuum leaks, and ignition issues months before they'd otherwise show up as a check engine light on your dashboard, and it costs you absolutely nothing to perform. Bonus: warm up smart, not long. This is the habit that even experienced drivers still get backwards. Letting a modern fuel-injected engine idle in the driveway for 10 or 15 minutes on a cold morning isn't protecting it at all. It's wasting fuel and adding unnecessary wear, because the engine actually warms up far more efficiently under light load than it does sitting still in park. The move mechanics actually recommend: start the car, give it about 30 seconds for the oil to fully circulate, then pull out and drive gently, keeping the RPMs low until the temperature gauge settles into its normal range. In genuinely freezing weather, a minute or two to clear the windshield is perfectly fine. Just don't turn it into a 15-minute ritual every morning. Your engine reaches full operating temperature faster on the road than it ever will sitting in the driveway, and every extra minute of idling is where you simply didn't need to add. None of these 11 habits cost real money, and none of them take more than a few minutes out of your month. But done consistently, they add up to years of extra life on an engine that most drivers would have replaced far too soon. If you've got your own engine-saving habit, or a story about the time you learned one of these the hard way, drop it in the comments below. It might save someone else a very expensive repair bill. And if you want more practical ways to keep your car running for the long haul, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one.